Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the penultimate episode of 2023 for One Man and His Boat. Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to another episode of One Man and His Boat. In this episode, what are you getting? You are getting the Lynsey B coming out of the water, yes. What we're going to do is we're going to show you a little bit of clip of what we've done beforehand, just to make sure everything was tickety-boo before the actual lift itself. And then we're going to actually have a walk around the vessel and see what the damage is over 18 months worth of work. Right, anyway, boys and girls, before we go on to what we're actually talking about in this episode, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone who has supported us throughout this year. I just wanted to say thank you for all your comments and all your support. It means the world to us. And anybody that's ordering stock for Christmas, unfortunately, I think you've missed the window, and it's not because we can't get it ordered, it's because of the postal. We're too close to Christmas now, so unfortunately it'll be after the year if you've ordered any merchandise from us. So, in this next few clips, you're going to see us having a little spin around the harbour, and what we were doing here, we were just giving the Lynsey B a little shakedown because she's not actually been able to get out of that corner since Storm Babette. Unfortunately, the boats have only been out 4 or 5 times since Storm Babette to actually get their gear, and I was busy elsewhere and I couldn't get the boat moved until very recently. So what we've done was we took it round the harbour a few times, we'd done a few speeds up and down just to make sure everything was all tickety-boo for the lift out, to make sure that there was no going to be any haphazards whatsoever. And I'm glad to say that the boat ran fine, everything was running exactly the way it should done, and I was so chuffed with the actual morning itself. So guys, before we go on into the next set of clips, I just want to apologise to you all for the quality of the actual footage that we're going to give you, because unfortunately, I had to do it with my phone camera, and it was in between actually lifting the boat out, and Jeff was away working, so he wasn't available to actually film for us. So, and I apologise now. It was kind of a bit all over the shop, but you know, at least we've got a little bit of footage. Obviously, lifting a boat out of the water is not just a one-man operation. There's a few people that got involved, and I want to thank them personally. Without their help, it would have just been an absolute struggle. First of all, I want to thank Richard Bissett. Unfortunately, we found out that a starter motor wouldn't work on the day, so we had to actually hand drag him out of the corner where we were actually going to get lifted out. And young Callum, aka Woody, for coming down from Trinent, which is a good bit away, to actually move the boat so we could actually get in to get the boat lifted out. And also RD Anderson's for a fantastic professional lift as per usual. This is the second time that One Man and His Boat have used them, and they've been professional from beginning to end, and you know you're in care when they're actually more worried about the boat than what you are. So that just shows you such a professional team when lifting boats out of the water. So here's a little thought for Dunbar Harbour Trust. Maybe it'd be a good idea to actually get a hoist for Dunbar. I mean, our closest place to actually get lifted out is Eyemouth or Arbroath, which is like 4.5 hours south or 6 hours north. So if Dunbar Harbour Trust could maybe go down the road of actually thinking about it, we have asked them before. However, I think times and things are just not quite as easy as what it should be, and it would be nice to actually get into the 21st century for this harbour. I'd also like to thank Graham Thompson, aka Spanner, for helping handball the boat into position when we were coming out of the water, and young Laurie McFarlane for the extra help as well. The more hands that you can have for this kind of lift, the better. So ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The Lynsey B is safe and sound on the pier, and I'm actually very grateful because the weather has just been absolutely atrocious. It's lovely today, but this has like been the first day that we've really had half decent weather, and it's actually nice to see. Now, I was actually very shocked indeed about the condition of the boat. She's actually had a bit of a battering over the last 18 months, and we're going to have a quick run round the boat itself just to show you guys actually the wear and tear on a new boat. Right guys, we're going to start at the stem of the boat, and for some reason, I don't know if it was me or somebody else, but somebody's been punching the hell out the stem of the boat, and all this has come away, so all this will need to come off and get straightened out and refixed. Now we're going to go on to the working side next, and that is where the most detail is of the most repairs that we have to do. So coming back from the stem on the working side, on our starboard side, I've actually noticed that there's a lot of wear and tear on the mahogany itself, so that has to be addressed. We have to protect that mahogany. On the rock hopper, my old Cygnus 32, at the potty working area, they hadn't protected it very well indeed, and most of the actual meat of the wood was gone. So I don't want this happening to the Lynsey B, especially because we've worked really hard on her and we've spent a fortune on her. So the more that we can do to make her last, the better. So on the other side, we've got the actual, our name and number, and it's all chipped. There's a lot of chips on the paintwork itself. I don't know what that's from. I'm quite unsure how I'm going to tackle this, but all this needs to be repainted as well. So here we have the working side, guys. This is the overlay of the fiberglass, and it is really damaged. And what has been damaged with is the corners of the steel pots. And when we first started with the Lynsey B, what I had was railway sleeper clamps as end weights, and they have absolutely knocked big lumps out of this. Now this has to be seriously addressed, because if we keep it like that, what will happen is the water will get in behind the fiberglass, we'll have separation, and then it may actually start osmosis, which is really bad for a fiberglass boat. Right guys, still working on the starboard side. This bit actually surprised me. The wood itself is actually getting rubbed from the rope going over the side. Now I thought with the angle of everything we would be okay, but it's not, and it's actually from the steel itself right past the back of the shotting pole. So we're going to actually have to add another stainless steel strip on here just to protect the wood once again. So again, we're at the backwater here. Obviously we've just talked about all the stainless steel that we've got to add to the vessel. Now the actual numbers and the fiberglass itself is very worn at the back here. This has to be repainted as well, and once again there's a good few chunks with it. I'm quite disimpressed actually how well this has not lasted, but I suppose she's a working boat. So guys, now that Lynsey B is out the water, it is the perfect time to actually check everything underneath the boat, and that's where you should start your list. If you're ever making a list of jobs to do, start for your waterline down, unless you've got a harbour that has easy access to a lift, of course, where you can pull your boat out at your wet leisure. Check your anodes, check your rudder, check your propeller, check absolutely everything that you can underneath, because that is where you can't get to, so that's what you need to pay attention to first. Everything else above the waterline is secondary. Right guys, obviously you can see that the Lynsey B is absolutely mock it. Now that's going to be my first priority, is to wash everything down, because you don't know what nasties is hiding underneath all this weed. Obviously you can see rust marks on the vessel as well. All that will need to be addressed, and she'll need a grand polish up before we stick her back in the water. Now there is paintwork that's needing addressed as well, and I'm going to actually have to have a little tackle of this, so you can wish me luck on that one, because I can't afford to get the painter back that done this, all this lovely artwork, because yeah, money's tight guys, money is really tight, especially with coming out of the water now. I've got another 3 months before I go back in the water to actually start pulling pots again and earning money, so everything we made in the summer will now be dwindling away. So by the time we get back to starting again, it's going to be starting from zero. So guys, and finally we're at the port side. Now this is the side that actually surprised me, because look at the state of this. The gel coat's all rubbed with the fenders, the paint's peeling off. Like I said, I'm speechless. I really am speechless. I know that's a hard thing to believe, but it's actually very worn all the way on the port side here, and this is going to take some polishing up to get it back to what it was before she went in the water. I know I can do it because I've got the machine to do it now, However, it's going to be a lot of work, I think. Right guys, there you go. We've had a little walk around the outside of the Lynsey B. There's still jobs to do on the inside as well, but we're going to leave them for another vlog. And what did you think? It's a wee bit of a state, isn't she? But you've got to remember, she has been squeezed for 5 other bigger boats for 6 weeks. And obviously we've had a lot of working life as well, and she's been through some hellish weather. We've got lots of plans for the Lynsey B. We're going to be fitting, I'm not going to tell you, because we need to leave it. We need to give you a little bit of surprise, something to look forward to. But I know what we've got. We've spent a lot of money actually getting the materials for it, and I'm quite sure you're going to find it very interesting indeed, guys. So if you like this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up. Please write a comment below if you have any questions, and please subscribe to the channel. Until your next vlog, my friends, take care of yourselves. All the very best.